Attention bunker. Alter. All duty personnel to your stations. Everyone else, gather at the central pillar. Do not turn on any additional lamps. Light discipline remains in effect. The external post, Raven, reports movement of a group of shufflers, estimated at 12 to 15 units, along the old forest road. They're still at a distance, but sound travels unpredictably. We have time. Perhaps the last quiet time for the most important conversation. My name is Artyom. In my previous life, a PhD in biological sciences specializing in neurotropic infections. In this life, your senior and, if you will, the preacher of our new reality. Today's quiet hour will be long. I will divide it into 6 parts, each one a facet of our new existence. If you fall asleep, I will wake you with ice water. If you don't understand, you will die. Now then, preamble. Accepting the corpse world. The first thing a mind must do when confronted with an irreversible catastrophe is not deny it, but digest it. Civilization as we knew it is dead. It didn't collapse. It is being erased, like ink on wet paper. States, economy, social contracts, all of these abstractions crumbled to dust in a matter of weeks in the face of a fundamental biological threat. We call them by euphemisms. Guests, shadows, silent ones. This is psychological defense. Name things directly and fear becomes a tool. They are infected carriers of the erasing pathogen, ISAP, or simply put, devourers. Their function is not malice, not revenge. Their function is the biological reformatting of the biosphere, where humans are no longer at the top. We are substrate. We are a resource for propagation. Your main task for the next hour is to make a Copernican shift in consciousness. You are not the center of the universe. You are not a hero. You are a rare, endangered species in an aggressive new ecosystem, and all your former morality, aesthetics, habits are stone tools in a nuclear war. They are useless, worse, deadly. Part 1. The Archaeology of Horror. From myth to metaphor to biological fact. To stop fearing the dark, you must know its nature. Fear of the walking dead is as old as humanity itself. We'll move through this chain so you can see where fiction ends and our reality begins. Layer 1. Archaic. Soul and body. In ancient cults, there was a belief that the soul could be stolen and the body captured by a malevolent will. The Scandinavian Draugr, the Slavic Upir, not just corpses. They are guardians of hordes, embodiments of improper death that violated the natural order. The horror here lies in desecrated ritual, in the unrest of the dead who now oppose the living. Key point. This is individual punishment or a curse, not an epidemic. Layer 2. Sociopharmacological. Haiti and the science of slavery. Here, technology emerges. A bokor, sorcerer, uses tetrodotoxin to induce a death-like lethargy. The victim is buried, dug up, and with the help of psychotropics, such as a potent dissociative from Datura stramonium, the will is erased, leaving a compliant slave. This is not mysticism. This is chemical lobotomy and an extreme form of social control. Fear shifts from supernatural to earthly. Loss of identity, enslavement, betrayal of one's self. The zombie here is a living human with a stolen soul. Layer 3. Modernist. Romero and the triumph of the crowd. George Romero performs a revolution. His dead are impersonal. Not individual monsters, but a mindless, merciless force. Epidemic. Cause. Radiation, later virus. Not magic, but technogenic, natural catastrophe. Metaphorical, a mirror of consumer society. Mindless, eternally hungry consumers devouring themselves. A panicked mass stripped of individuality. They can be killed with a shot to the head. This created an illusion of controllability, a false pattern. There is a problem, there is a simple solution. Layer 4. vulgar. Hollywood, gamification, and the poison of hope. Here, trivialization begins. Zombies become background for action. They're killed by the thousands. Cool rules are invented, and the myth of a lab with an antidote appears. This is the most dangerous layer. It implants fatal viruses into the mind. The main thing is to find the source, and you can just shoot your way out. Ammo is infinite. This layer is a suicidal fantasy. It teaches heroism, not survival. Our reality is a synthesis of layer 2 and 3 brought to the logical extreme. Like the Bokors, it is biochemical reprogramming. Like Romero's world, it is a causeless, total epidemic. But there is no metaphor, only fact, a pathogen that systematically shuts down the human being and leaves a functioning body. Your brain must defragment. Purge images from games and films. When you see an ICEP carrier, you must see not a monster, but a pathogen host. Class B, stabilization phase, low intensity, high persistence threat. It is an object, not a subject, and your actions must be cold and protocol-driven. Part 2. The biochemistry of doom. The erasure mechanism. They weren't resurrected. They weren't revived. They were overwritten. The working name of the pathogen is the neocortex suppression complex, NSC. We don't know whether it is artificial or natural. It doesn't matter. What matters is how it works. Imagine the brain as a government. Phase 0. Invasion and sabotage, 2 to 72 hours. The pathogen, hypothetically a retrovirus with a prion-like envelope, enters via mucosa or blood. It moves retrograde along axons to the spinal cord. Symptoms: high fever, immune response, tremor, confusion, bouts of unprovoked aggression. The carrier is already infectious. Every bodily fluid is biological weaponry. Danger lies in normalcy. They look like a flu patient, not a monster. Phase 1. Coup d'etat. 12 hours, 5 days. NSC reaches the brain. Its targets are not structures, but neurotransmitter pathways and synaptic connections. Attack on the government. Neocortex. Prefrontal cortex. Decision-making, will, empathy. NSC dissolves dopamine serotonin receptors. Result: selfhood extinguishes. Insular cortex. Disgust, body awareness, emotional empathy. Suppressed. Result: no disgust. They eat rot. No awareness of injuries. Temporal lobes, partial. Speech centers isolated. Result: speech collapses into incoherent sounds. Activation of the revolt, limbic system and brainstem. Hypothalamus. Satiety center destroyed. Hunger center overactivated. Result: unending, purposeless hunger. Not for nutrition, but for activation of the jaw, the pathogen's transmission tool. Amygdala. Fear and aggression. Without inhibition from the PFC, it runs at 300%. Result: non-stop, undifferentiated aggression. Periaqueductal gray. Pain centers. NSC blocks substance P. Result: total analgesia. Reticular formation. Sleep-wake center damaged. Result: no need for sleep. Constant, dull wakefulness. Phase 2. Autopilot mode from 5 days. The coup is complete. Higher functions off, lower functions hyperactive. The body becomes a biorobot. Muscles receive primitive commands from remaining cerebellar/brainstem tissue. Metabolism slows to bare minimum. Why no decay? NSC may synthesize antibiotic-like compounds that suppress putrefaction. Mummification prevails. They may function for months. Part 3. Field identification and tactical protocols. Your survival depends on instant threat classification. Class Alpha. Runners. Fresh ones. Phase 1. 0 to 7 days. Identification. Jerky movements can sprint 50 to 100 meters, overcome simple obstacles, use door handles. Vocalization. Wheezing, growling, occasional shouted words, memory remnants. pupils may respond to light. Main trait, targeted aggressive pursuit. Threat, immediate, high. Protocol, evade, immobilize. Avoid contact at all costs. Run zigzag. Use narrow spaces. Barricades, not just doors, heavy furniture, debris. Traps, mole pit, 3 meters deep, stakes smeared with feces. Garrote loop, chest-height snare for hanging. False footbridge, collapses under multiple bodies. Combat, last resort. Pole arms, disable legs, then finish with a blow to skull base from safe distance. Class Bravo, shufflers, classic. Phase 2, weeks, months. Identification, slow, linear movement, silent or faint gurgling, cloudy eyes. Severe injuries irrelevant. Main trait, constant pressure. Threat, low intensity, high persistence. Protocol, contain, methodically eliminate. Silence and camouflage. Passive defense, dry trench, 2.5 meters wide, 3 meters deep. Hedgehog fence, 2 angled rows of stakes plus barbed wire. Rattle zone, cans, glass for noise alert. Active elimination, lure with alarms, destroy one by one from safe elevation. Psychological protection, no more than 2-hour shifts, debriefing, reframing zombies as malfunctioning mechanisms. Class Charlie, sleepers, mimes, special phenotype. Identification, hibernation for days to months, look like corpses, activate instantly if touched or warmed. Threat, high due to unpredictability. Protocol, clean sweep. Zero trust rule, any unexplored room is considered contaminated. Tool, the probe tentacle, a wooden or metal pole 2 to 3 meters long with a hook or blunt tip at the end. Procedure, entry only in pairs. One provides cover with a weapon ready, crossbow, spear. The other is the probe operator. The door is opened with the probe from the side, never from the front. Methodical probing of all zones. Behind the door, under beds, inside wardrobes opened with the probe, behind sofas. Any motionless object resembling a body is considered active. Do not approach. Destroy from a distance, crossbow, throwing spear. If that's impossible, carefully drag it into open space with the probe and neutralize it there. Part 4. Survival engineering. Not weapons, but a system. Your kit is not an arsenal. It is a repairman's toolkit for a broken world. System went. Personal defense and offense. The silence and reliability principle. Ranged weapons. Priority. Compound crossbow with mechanical cocking aid. For example, goat's foot. Accuracy, power, relative silence. Bolts are reusable. Drawback, slow reload. Use, precise elimination, hunting. High-pressure PCP air rifle. Silent, higher rate of fire. Requires a compressor or pump. Use, up to approximately 70 meters, small game hunting, quiet removal of solitary targets. Melee weapons, primary. Axe, carpenters or firefighters, or warhammer. Center of mass in the head, enormous penetrating power. Doesn't get stuck in bone like knives. Polearm, glaive or halberd, improvised, knife, axe head on a long shaft. Provides a critical reach advantage. Backup, large cleaver, machete, or crowbar. Universal tool and weapon. Equipment, armor, not metal, too heavy, too noisy. Layered, base, dense wool or fleece, shock absorption. Top, several layers of tough, stitched denim, canvas, leather. Shoulder, forearm, and shin inserts made from cut plastic canisters or polycarbonate. Goal, make a bite ineffective. Teeth shouldn't reach flesh in one attempt. Helmet, construction hard hat with a metal or reinforced plastic face mesh. Protection from splatter and grabbing. Gloves, leather welding gloves with extended gauntlets. System 2, medicine, the infection prevention principle. The medical kit is divided into levels. Level 1, emergency, always on you. Tourniquet, hemostatic powder, Celox, Israeli bandage, nitrile gloves, iodine sticks. Level 2, basic in camp. Broad-spectrum antibiotics, ciprofloxacin, amoxicillin clavulanic acid. Antivirals, if available. Strong painkillers, tramadol. Suture kit, needle holder, thread, scalpels, chlorhexidine, hydrogen peroxide. Level 3, surgical and long-term. Field surgery textbook, tools for simple operations, dental filling materials, medications for chronic illnesses, hypertension, asthma. System 3, life support. The water, warmth, food principle. Water. Besides filtration, a solar still, black film, condensate, knowledge of natural sources. Fire. Fire steel, ferro rod. Reserve of dry tinder. Food. Focus on calories and long storage. Lard, clarified butter, ghee, dried meat, jerky, grain, wheat, rice. Seeds as strategic reserve. Part 5. The ecology of the mind. How not to become a ghost to yourself. External threat kills only halfway. The other half is the collapse of the psyche from within. You must guard this more strictly than the perimeter. Bunker sickness syndromes. Observation loop. Obsessive, hours-long watching of the enemy through a slit. The person stops sleeping, begins attributing non-existent cunning to the shufflers, sees familiar faces in them. Treatment. Physically remove from post. Assign tasks not related to observation. Repairs, sorting. Conversational therapy. Describe what you saw. Now describe what actually happened. Movement, number. Self-aggression and survivor's guilt. Why am I alive and they are not? May lead to sabotage, an accidental step outside the perimeter, or refusal of one's share of supplies. Treatment. Make it concrete. You're alive because you shut the door in time. That's not luck, that's your action. Now your task is to help others survive because of your actions. Assign mentorship, caring for a newcomer or weaker member. Dissociation. Autopilot. Person performs tasks mechanically, shows no emotion, doesn't join conversations. A preterminal stuporous stage of the psyche. Treatment. Sensory shock therapy. Assign something involving beauty or gentleness, caring for the only live flower in the bunker, listening to music if available, tactile contact, hugs if appropriate, duty to tell children or everyone stories each evening. Psychological hygiene rituals, mandatory for all. The 3 blessings. Evening. Before sleep, each person names 1. One useful thing they did today. 2. One thing they learned. 3. One good memory from the old life. Day of silence. 1 day every 2 weeks. Total ban on discussing tactics, threats, supplies. Allowed, reading, drawing, crafts, board games, kept or improvised. Memory archive. A shared notebook where everyone writes down memories. Grandma's pie recipes, poems, jokes, descriptions of beautiful places. This is not nostalgia. It is proof that another world existed and therefore can exist again. Part 6. Project Second Breath. A strategy of rebirth. Survival is a dead end. You need a creative goal. Our project is not just to survive. Our project is to lay foundations for the regeneration of life, not mere existence. Phase 0. Our current status. Shelter fortress. Focus on defense, supplies, protocol mastery. Goal: stabilize the group, make it a viable organism. Duration: 6 to 12 months. Phase 1. Laying foundations. Farm workshop. Location choice. Not a city, an abandoned village, forest base, monastery. Criteria: clean water source, spring, arable land, forest, construction, fuel, natural barriers, river, ravines. Infrastructure, perimeter. Not a wall, but layered defense. Outer belt of traps and rattle zones, then ditch, palisade, then an inner yard with workshops.
Energy. Solar panels, priority. Fridge for meds and seeds. Wind turbine, wood gasifier for power tools. Water, well plus filtration and lifting system. Hand pump or wind-powered. Production, forge. Tool making and repair. Pottery, carpentry workshop. Simple loom. Solar salt pan. Vital product. Phase 2. Expansion and contact. Settlement node. Agriculture. Move from garden plots to systemic farming. Crop rotation, composting, green manure. Raising rabbits and chickens. Protein and fertilizer. Education. Formal education for children and adults. Survival textbooks plus old physics, chemistry, biology, literature books. Key skill, not shooting, but literacy and critical thinking. Establishing contacts. Not for forming an army, but for trade and knowledge exchange. Radio communication on set frequencies. Exchange not objects, but technologies. We give you a windmill plan, you give us a scheme for obtaining antibiotics from mold. Phase 3. Legacy. Archive and beacon. Creation of a protected knowledge archive on analog media, paper, microfilm. All scientific, technical, cultural information. Formation of an ethical code for the new society, based on lessons of the catastrophe. Cooperation over competition, balance with nature, the value of knowledge and the individual. Preparation of expeditions, not for conquest, but for mapping and establishing contact with other centers of renewal. Time of our quiet hour is over. I've drawn for you the map of this new reality, from the microbiology of the pathogen to the strategy of civilizational rebirth. This map is useless unless you take the next step. Today, after your shift, each of you will receive an assignment. Not a combat one, a creative one. Someone will start a diary. Someone will receive a book and the duty to copy 3 pages into the common archive in the most beautiful handwriting. Someone will dismantle an old engine to understand how it works, because tomorrow, at dawn, we will not merely survive. We will begin building a greenhouse. We will plant into the frozen soil not only tomato seeds, we will plant seeds of the future. And remember my final words, which must become your law. Fear is the compass pointing at the threat. Discipline is the armor that shields you from it. And hope is not belief in a miracle. It is the stubborn daily labor of bringing to life that spark of humanity still glowing inside you. Extinguish it, and you become a walking corpse. Nurture it, and you give the world a second chance. To the sentries, to your posts. The rest, gear check and task distribution. We are not the last people on Earth. We are the first people of the new world.